Welcome to part 2 of our discussion of how to design usable websites. This is Bob Dust, your instructor for the ASP.NET class at Reynolds Community College. As a reminder, here's a graphic we had from part 1. A user interface is like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's not that good. Those are true words. Again, another reminder is this course is based upon the excellent book by Steve Krug called Don't Make Me Think, Revisited, Common Sense Approach to Web Usability. We left our last discussion, we were going to talk about navigation. And the author of the book, Steve Krug, says, people won't use your website if they can't find their way around it. There's a lot of truth in that. It's a simple statement. If you think about it, if they can't navigate your site, they're going to give up and leave. So navigation is a key part of designing usable websites. And the author gives the example of going to a store such as Sears to buy a chainsaw. And you walk in the front door and you look around the store and you see some signs that say, for example, tools, housewares, lawn and garden, and you're thinking chainsaw. Well, it's not housewares, like eliminate that. But is it a tool or is it lawn and garden? Tools, maybe something you use inside the home, I don't know. Lawn and garden, I'm thinking bushes and plants and stuff. I don't know which one to go. So I have to choose one. And if I'm at Sears and I guess wrong, I can go back to where I came in, or just start wandering around, looking, trying to find it. And as I'm wandering around, I may forget why I even came in there, and I may just leave. Okay? And it makes sense. Websites are like that. You usually go to a website because you want to find something. You tend to either search by asking first, or you browse around a little bit. Click here, click there. If you browse, you're going to navigate a hierarchy using signs for guidance. So you're looking for indicators of where you should be clicking to go. You try something that didn't work, try something else. Maybe that worked, maybe it didn't. Now what? Keep trying. Eventually, you give up and leave. So let's compare a physical store to a website. Okay. A physical store, you go in and you kind of get a sense for how big it is when you walk in the front door. Whether it's a small local store or a big box store, you at least have some sense of how big it is. You go into a website and you don't know. You land the home page. How big is this place? Is it 50 pages? Is it 1,000 pages? How big is it? You have no sense of direction. You go into a store, you can go left, you go right, you go up, down, frontwards, backwards. You kind of have a sense of direction. You don't have that with a website. You also don't have a sense of location. If you fiddle around and you click on various things and you finally get to what you want, you can't always remember how you got there. With a store, if you walk in the front door looking for chainsaws the first time, you may bounce around a few times. When you come back, you kind of remember where it is. For websites, sometimes that's not true. And it's kind of sad that the back button is the most used button at many websites. That's almost a sign of a flawed website in some opinions. If you have to keep clicking the back button, that means you're kind of walking backwards to the store. So one thing we want to achieve with our web design is we want some persistent navigation. So we want to make sure the navigation of the menus are always in the same place. And you may have minor variations, but in general, they're at the top or the left, typically, of a website, so people are familiar with where they are. That way, once they're in a persistent spot, the user only has to figure out how to use it once. Okay, the navigation should always include a site ID. This is a button or a link to the home page. There should be sections for whatever it is your site's doing, whether it's products or support. There should be utilities for signing in, how to contact the company, and there should be a search button. And when it comes to search, call it search. Don't try to get fancy with find or quick search or something else. Just use the plain old word search. That's what people expect. Make it obvious where the user is in the navigation context. So if I have a bunch of pages and I'm buried inside the site, let me know where I am. Either use bold text, change the color. One of my favorites is reverse the colors. You got red and white, make this white and red so it stands out. All right, it's an old test. Imagine you've been blindfolded and locked in the trunk of a car. In this case, an old car, looks like. Driven around for a while, and then you're dumped in the deep bowels of a web page. When you come out of the trunk, how quickly can you answer these questions? What site is this? What page am I on? What are the major sections of this site? What are my options? Where am I in the scheme of things? And how can I search? So again, if you just dumped in the middle of a page of a website, any user should be able to answer these questions quickly. Another test is to print a page at random from a website, hold it at arm's length, and ask yourself, how quickly can I answer these same questions? Now, the author has a section in his book called Why I Love Tabs. Now, I kind of like these. These are self-evident. You know where you are when you see them. You know what they do. They're easy to see and understand what they do. They're visually distinctive. And it's obvious at a glance that they are here for navigation. They're also slick. They add polish. And they serve a useful purpose that most people understand quickly. Now, let's move on to home pages. Home pages. This is the main page of the website. Think of this like the cover of a magazine. Okay? We want to know the site identity and mission. The home page has to tell me what site this is and what it's for. It should tell me why I'm here and not at some other site. There should be an overview of what the site has to offer, both content, for example, what can I find here, and features such as what can I do here. Obviously, we'd like to have a search feature prominently displayed on the home page. Again, like the cover of a magazine, there should be things that tease me to encourage me to explore, for example, a magazine, to open up and read articles. So the home page or the cover of the magazine should tease me with lots of good stuff if I just go inside. Home pages should have timely content. Some content needs to be updated frequently. For example, what's new, what's special. So you don't want it to be static. Also, this helps search engines if they know your homepage is alive instead of the same way it was a year ago. There should be deals. If there's deals, let me see them on the homepage. And more. Should be promotions, features, register, log in. A lot of things that should go on the home page. Even more. Show me what I'm looking for. I came here to find something. Show me what I'm looking for. Make me feel like I'm at the right place. Show me what I'm not looking for. Upsell me. Wonderful things I didn't know I wanted. If I'm looking for a new car and you have features in your car that I'm not familiar with, like heads-up display, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, things like that, I'm not even familiar with it. Wow, let me know they're there. It's good things to know. Make it obvious where I'm to start. Usually through your navigation menu. This may be your only chance to build credibility and trust. If I don't feel like this is a credible or trustworthy or dynamic company, that's going to come across in your homepage, and I may not go any further. Now, home pages are limited in space. They oftentimes considered the waterfront property on the web. Everybody wants a piece of it. From your sales department to service to finance, accounts receivable may want you to pay your bills here. CEO wants FaceTime. Everybody wants a piece of the homepage. It's a lot to ask for. A lot to ask for one page to have all this on there. Let's look at the big picture. So answer these at a glance. Based on the theory that the first few seconds you use your spins here are critical. So a user's going to come to your web page, and after a few seconds, they're going to decide if this is where they should be or not. So let's answer these questions. What is this site? What do they do here? What can I do here? And why should I be here and not somewhere else? If they guess these things wrong, they usually guesses incorrectly here, they may still have the mind made up of what your website is supposed to do, and they may force feed your website to fit their incorrect assumptions. So we need to get this homepage right the first time. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you, we don't have to do that on our website, on this site, because it's obvious what we do. Well, it may be obvious to you, but it's not going to be obvious to everybody. Remember, some people don't know your company. They come here for the first time. They're not sure what it is you're doing. Yes, you know because you work here, but they may not know. If you explain something, I mean, say after they see the explanation once, it's annoying to keep seeing it over and over. Actually, and that's not really true. People will not avoid a site because they see the same explanation every time. For example, on the school website, if you see JSRCC, and you know what it means, JSR to Reynolds Community College, you're not annoyed because you see it every time you come there. You always expect it. It's just a form of reinforcement. Another objection is people who need our site will know what it is. This is not true. People who don't get your site the first time won't hang around to see if they do need it. So they may come there and see it and think, I'm not sure what the site does. I'm going to move on to another one. Especially if they Google what it is they're looking for. They click on a link in Google. Your site comes up. They go, I don't think this is what I'm looking for. And they click the back button and you lost them forever. And another objection is that's what our advertising is for. By the time people get to your website, will they remember your advertising? And what if someone else directed them to your site? They may be talking to somebody who recommended your site, and they come there, they go, I don't think this is what I thought it was. So don't shortchange the message. So let's talk about the message a little bit. You want to start with a tagline. For example, at Reynolds, our tagline is, where careers get started. You want a welcome blurb. Just a terse description of the site. This is usually at the top left or top center, just so people feel like they know where they are. Actually, short videos are becoming popular now. It used to be people would not click on a video. Now, 10, 15, 30, 60-second video, people are willing to see it, and they'll click on it. So they're willing to watch that, so consider having a little video. How much space should the message be? Well, as much as necessary, but not anymore. Kind of like the old Einstein expression, keep things as simple as possible, but no simpler. I like to say, make it long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to keep it interesting. How about a mission statement? Should we put a mission statement out there? Answer here is no. People are not going to read it. This is not a welcome blurb, and people are not going to look at it, so don't waste the space on it. Let's talk about the tagline. We want the tagline to be near the site ID logo. That's where users expect them, and they will read them if they are concise. We want to convey differentiation. We want to have a clear benefit. A good tagline is one that nobody else in the world could use but you. Think about Zipcar or Open Table. Okay, it should express a guiding principle. Now, this is not the same as a model, which expresses a golden idea. A tagline conveys a value proposition. And it should be clever. jQuery has, if you remember that, has tagline, write less, do more. I like it. Make it personal, lively if you can. Here's a local example of a Virginia store that sells peanuts, Virginia Diner. You notice they have, there's their logo, here's their tagline. The peanut capital of the world is a clever saying here, a legend in a nutshell. Cute, isn't it? All right. All right. So we're all web users, right? We all know what we like. We all know what we like. You may love big images on a web page. Well, I don't. I may love menus at the top, and you may not. You may love drop-down lists, and maybe I don't. We all love video tutorials, right? Like this one. Maybe we don't all love them. So it's not the same for everybody. So we think we're all typical users. At the same time, we're not typical users. We also tend to think that other users are like us. And we understand not that everybody's like us. There are some people out there who hate what we love. Maybe even some people in this class. Well, of course, they're not sensible people, right? I'm just kidding. All right, so there's different types of people. One, one category is left brain and right brain people. Left brain people are analytical. They good at spreadsheets and see things and everything's logical to them. And then right brain people are artsy. They like art and colors and sounds and sights and visual stimulation. You ever seen old westerns? Excuse me. A lot of times they'll have farmers who compete against cattlemen. The farmers have their crops and they raise their corn and other crops, and they like fences around their land to protect their crops, and cattlemen like wide open spaces so their livestock can roam freely. There's always that conflict. And then what I'm close to are developers versus designers. Now, I'm more on the developer side. I'm more on the analytical side. I'm not having to deal, but I have to deal, or do deal with designers a lot. So developers, like me, maybe you, want to build interesting, ingenious, and original websites. We like the challenge. We may see some little widget out there at some other site and say, "Ooh, I like that. I want to do that." Designers, on the other hand, they want to build great looking websites that are easy to use. There's this conflict that's built in. And actually, conflict is good. If you think about conflict, a lot of your better organizations in life have conflict built in. You have Congress versus the governor or the president. You have Democrats versus Republicans. You got mothers and fathers who don't always see raising their children the same way. But that conflict works out to be good because you get a balance of things instead of having one side that dominates. So don't try to eliminate conflict, but actually use it to your advantage. All right, so let's talk about the average user. And the first thing we learn about the average user is there is no such thing as an average user. Bottom line is web users are not like anything that we can define. The author says all web use is basically idiosyncratic. The reactions are based on many variables. And attempts to describe the likes and dislikes are futile and counterproductive. Should we have, for example, one big page that has everything on it? Or should we have smaller pages that are broken into sections where we group like categories? Should we have homepage carousels where we have things flipping around? Should we have mega menus? Should we do rollovers when the mouse rolls over an item? Not everything is black and white. And the bottom line is there is no simple answer. Again, the author says, and I agree, there's no such thing as an average user. So it's hard to build a website with that in mind. So it comes down to the main question. Main question is, does this, whatever, from a menu to a graphic to a list, a menu, drop-down list, radio buttons, whatever it is this object, this control, with these items and this wording in this context on this page, create a good experience for most people who are likely to use this site? That's the big question. That's a tough question. And so it's something we have to struggle with. And you'll find when you get into meetings with people, and I've done this many times, there's a lot of opinions out there. And somebody's going to say, I don't like it, I don't get it, that's not how I do it, this is not right, this is wrong, my way is right, your way is wrong. And it goes on and on and on, and it becomes just frustrating. And from a web developer, you're kind of stuck in the middle. So it's a tough question. If you come down to this main question here, you can sometimes get the conversation moving in the right direction. But the main thing is, the best thing to do is use the main answer. The main answer is usability testing. Now, the author of the book we're using, Don't Make Me Think, also has a book out there on how to do usability testing called Rocket Surgery Made Easy, a do-it-yourself guide to finding and fixing usability problems. Now, we're not going to cover that in this course. It's an excellent book, and when you get into it, it also makes a lot of sense about how to do usability testing, and don't try to just, like I've done in the past, is sit in a conference room with stakeholders and developers and managers and users and whomever, and try to come up with answers. Follow this approach. I wish I had done this. Actually, I have done this before, and it a long time ago, it does work. So it's a great resource for you, and I highly recommend this book. Again, we're not going to cover it in this class. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Goodwill. Organizations, whether you're for-profit, nonprofit, government agency, local Boy Scout troop or whatever, you build up goodwill with your customers. Online organizations such as Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, many others gain most of their goodwill through their online presence. So you cannot count on a large reserve of goodwill in your customer, because goodwill can be situational. It may be the most recent bad experience that they have with your company. It could be they're usually in a big hurry. They're trying to order something because they're running out the door, headed for the plane or whatever. So goodwill is situational. It is replenishable if you do it right. If a customer has a bad experience, how you handle that bad experience can replenish the goodwill that they used to have. And the main thing is, if the customer feels like your company or your website has my best interest at heart, you can replenish the goodwill. Or not. One thing that drives me crazy is if I go to a website and I have to fill out a form. I already logged in. I have to fill out a form. I have to enter everything again for my name, phone number, email, mailing address. And I'm like, you already know this. Put it in there. Let me make any changes I have to make. That's how you cannot gain goodwill. All right, so what diminishes goodwill? Hiding information. You ever notice how companies try to get you to not call them? If I have problems, sometimes I just pick up the phone and talk to somebody because maybe my situation is unique. It doesn't fit in with your company's cookie cutter approach. So I get frustrated when I can't find the phone number quickly, or worse, if it's not even there. So don't hide that kind of information. Don't punish me either. Let me enter information my way. If I put in my phone number or I put parentheses around the area code or dashes or spaces, let me do it my way. It's easy for you as the website and the web developer that you'll learn this class to filter those things out. If you want me to create a password, tell me the rules before I create the password. Don't let me put in the password and say, oh, you have to have an uppercase character. All right, I put in an uppercase character. Do it again. Oh, no, you have to have a number. All right, put in a number. Do it again. Oh, you gotta have a special character. It's gotta be at least 8 characters long. Whatever your rules are, let me know those up front. You're frustrating me by making me guess what your rules are. Something else that annoys me is limiting my password attempts to some unreasonably low number like 3 or 5. I have 3 or 4 schemes that I use for passwords, and each scheme has different variations upon that. So it may take me 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 attempts sometimes to remember my specific password for this account. If you block me at 3 and make me call you, and I'm trying to do this at 1 o'clock in the morning and you don't open until 9 o'clock the next day, you're losing goodwill. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Something else that annoys me is, since you go to a website for the first time, you get a pop-up. What's your email? Enter your email before you can enter my site. Excuse me, I don't know what your site does. I'm not sure I know who you are enough to want to give you my email. Most of the times, I just close the entire site. I mean, when I go to a retail store, they don't stop me at the front door and ask me for my email address or my phone number or my name or anything. I just walk through the doors and I'm a shopper immediately. I don't know why websites think they're any different, and I have to identify myself before I can even come in. All right? They don't have unnecessary distractions. They don't have things flashing about that don't serve any purpose. I'm trying to focus on one thing, and you're playing videos or flashing something over there in the lower right-hand corner or upper right-hand corner. It's just unnecessary. The other thing is, this day and age, having cheesy, amateurish websites is a thing of the past. I know if you looked at my website, you're thinking, Bob, have you seen yours? And I'm well aware of that. That site was developed probably over 15 years ago, just using pure HTML and a little bit of CSS and XML. Now, I know I need to redo it, but it does. You have a cheesy looking website, customers are going to shy away from you. All right, so how do we increase goodwill? We want to, this sounds crazily simple, but a lot of websites don't do this. We want to make the main things obvious. Think about what are the 3 main things your users want to do, and make those obvious. If they want to get service or buy something, make those stand out. I also want you to tell me what I want to know and not what you want me to know. So if I come to your website and I heard something perhaps not so good about your company, address it. Let me know what's going on. If you're having labor problems or you're having severe weather problems and you can't deliver products, just tell me. So, things are delayed for a couple of days until we get past the storm and sort things out. Hurricane came through or a snowstorm. That's fine. We as users understand those things. Tell me that. Don't hide it from me. Don't make it sound like they're not existing. Be proactive. All right. Also, I want you to save me steps. Amazon, well, it used to be companies would give you a tracking number and say, well, click on this website and enter your tracking number, and it can tell you where your product is. Amazon went a step further. They gave you a link. The link had your tracking number built into it. You click on the link and presto, there's everything you want to know. Now, a lot of companies do that now. It's become the norm. It took a company like Amazon to make that happen. Let me solve things on my own, best I can. If I need support installing your products, have your website show me how to do that. Okay, just a nice little thing to do. One thing that annoys me are frequently asked questions. Most of the times, these are rarely questions that I ask. Mostly it's marketing babble, stuff that you want me to know. And I don't even click on them anymore because I'm always assured that they're not going to be helpful. In desperation, sometimes I will, and 90% of the time, of course, I'm usually disappointed. So if you're going to have frequently asked questions, make them truly frequently asked questions, and not something your sales department threw out there. All right, and something that I'm guilty of is not having printer-friendly pages. I know I need to work on that with my little website, but people sometimes will print the pages out, and you might want to change the fonts around and get rid of the some of the noise out there and just show the content on your page. All right. All right, that brings us to the end. Bottom line in this is web usability is an art more than a science. And the answer to most usability questions is, it depends. Depends on what you're doing, who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, what controls you have, who your customers are. A lot of things go into it. And the bottom line is it truly takes a team working together to make a web page usable. Don't delegate this to the new person who just retired on and say, hey, make this thing usable. And also, don't wait until the end to do this. Usability is something that has to be done throughout the development of the site. I mentioned the book, Rocket Surgery Made Easy. In that book, they describe how it's a continuous process. He recommends spending, I think, 4 hours every 2 weeks or something, just in usability testing. Early on, don't do it at the end. All right, so this concludes our discussion on web usability. The rest of this course, I hope we can apply some of these techniques and concepts into our website. This is important, so hope you got a lot out of it, and see you next time. Take care.